Good morning, Dr. Turner. Could you begin by introducing yourself, telling us what is your area of expertise and what would you like us to call you?
Good morning, and my name is Dr. Nancy Turner. I'm the Director of Mental Health for the Rock Hill School District in South Carolina. And
Wonderful.
Dr. Turner is good.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So we're working on a story that dives into the increase of teen and child suicide since the beginning of the pandemic and how parents are handling this in schools. Could you tell us, in your own experience, is this true? Have child and teen suicide have increased during the pandemic, and why?
I think that's a great question. I can tell you the last 20 years, I was a director of special education and now transitioned into the mental health directorship. And there has definitely been an increase in mental health issues, as well as suicidal ideation and issues along that line. It is very concerning. And through the years, we have seen a rise in this area as well as across the board with significant mental health concerns.
How early does a child consider or understand suicide? Is there a specific age? And what signs should parents and teachers should look for?
You know, that's a very common question that we are asked all the time. There's no real this age. However, it's getting younger all the time. And so we have talked to our parents through the years and said, first and foremost, listen to your child, ask direct questions. As early as 9 or 10, it seems so young. However, if we're hearing signs and seeing signs of depression or seeing signs of students feeling alone, or they may feel rejected. Parents notice this. They might think, well, they're going through something. Don't wait. Be direct. Ask questions. And there are other true warning signs that we might want to look at. Signs that we want to know, what does it look like? What does it sound like? Changes in sleeping patterns, perhaps, or eating patterns. Does a child start giving away their possessions? We have to take a look at that. Are they no longer in their favorite activities? Did they drop out of band or cheerleading or football? Are there just significant changes in their behavior? Are they suddenly withdrawn when they before had all kinds of friends and were very active in school? Also, our parents need to listen and listen intently. Are the students talking about killing themselves? Are the students talking about hopelessness? Or maybe they've said, oh, I'm a burden to you or to the grandparents. We have students that might say they have no reason to live. So we want our students to listen, our parents, to listen intently and to not think, oh, this is a passing thing. When they hear this, sit their child down, turn off the TV, the cell phones, the video games. Ask that direct question. Are you thinking of hurting yourself? Are you thinking of killing yourself? They will ask. However, ask for support, always. We are here. The Rock Hill Schools, from superintendent, school board on down, we are here for our parents, our children, and the community. In every school, we have an adult that would be available for a child and for a teacher or an adult to talk to. In our district, we are also putting things together, programs together with partnerships from our local universities, other agencies that will provide access to talk to therapists, to offer triage for our families and for our children.
Do you think one common question that we've gotten in our research, has social media increased this? What is the impact of social media in this issue?
There's a significant impact of social media. And so through our parent academies, through our agencies like NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and other partnerships. We will come into our schools and talk with small groups, even at big events like football games at halftime. We will talk to our athletic directors and our groups like cheerleaders and football players who are feeling extraordinary stress. And also the social media plays a huge part in this.
In comparing what the Rock Hill Schools initiatives, what other initiatives are in your knowledge across the country? How do you think schools are handling this, especially since the beginning of the pandemic?
I do believe that there's just a variety of ways that different districts are handling it in different ways. I can really truly only talk about the Rock Hill Schools, which I would love to. One of the extraordinary ways that we are touching the lives of our community is through the Parent Academy. It started out small, and the Parent Academy is a live stream Zoom via our Rock Hill Facebook and Rock Hill YouTube. It is every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock. And I facilitate this. We bring on guest speakers that will talk about resiliency, self-care, suicide awareness. They will talk about gaming, addiction, all topics that our parents and communities are very interested in. Also, it's geared to our parents and guardians of students. And so we have increased our viewership from about 4,000 to 5,000 in the community. We hope to continue because we have 17,000 students in our Rock Hill schools. We also have put together a Rock Hill resource hotline, and I'm happy to say that the community is taking advantage of this. It is staffed by our mental health therapist, our school psychologist, myself, as well as our Winthrop University social work department. And it is 24 hours. However, it is staffed with live people just during the instructional day. And then, of course, after hours, we have resources that are available for anyone.
What is the impact of this program on the smaller scale? Let's just say in a classroom. Like, how are these initiatives enforced in a day-to-day basis in a classroom, for example?
Right. I think first and foremost, awareness. I truly believe that when we have more awareness, when we're talking more about it, we have less stigma. And with less stigma, our students feel just a little better talking about it. I do want to say that through our social emotional learning programming, through programs like restorative practices, restorative circles, we are allotting time during the instructional day to express ourselves and to have students talk. They don't have to. They can even hear what other students are saying and then feel better about expressing themselves. So I do think that may be unique to Rock Hill Schools as well, that we are making time during the instructional day for these social emotional learning times, experiences, activities, and restorative circles.
That's all the questions that I have. Do you have any more questions, Erin?
Yep, I do. Hi, Dr. Turner.
Hi.
I wanted to know why Rock Hill Schools decided to establish this Department of Mental Health.
I think that's a great question. I will say that traditionally, mental health services have been in other departments, student services or special education. And the last 20 years, I was a director of special education in 4 districts, and mental health was under my umbrella. However, as the needs increase, our superintendent, our school board, they understood, they saw the need, and in open discussions, looked at what do we need to do and have approved and supported creative solutions to move forward due to the rise of request for mental health services. So in July, 1st of 2021, we launched the Department of Mental Health for Rock Hill Schools, and then I was appointed as the Director of Mental Health for the Rock Hill Schools, and it really is quite an honor. And in doing this, having this oversight, I've created task force and committees working hand in hand with our community partners, that would be agencies and universities, and we really have been providing wonderful programming. Have a long way to go, though, of course.
And was the decision to establish this department made during the pandemic or because of the pandemic or before? Because youth have been experiencing mental health challenges even before the pandemic started. So how long has this been in the works?
For many years. This is my 7th year in Rock Hill, and the discussions started my first year. Because, of course, mental health was under my umbrella as the Director of Special Education, and we were seeing as a district, the referrals were increasing, the concerns, and they were not about special education, but about mental health, working with our mental health agencies and bringing them on. So we saw the rise and the concerns early on. So the discussion started far before the pandemic. It was the pandemic, though, that exacerbated all of the concerns. And that's when we started to move even quicker, because we wanted our students to come to school, stay in school, get the services they need. And it has been successful. However, we have a long way to go.
Okay. And what resources, I know you mentioned there's resources during the school day, but what other resources are provided to students overall?
Overall, oh my goodness. Well, during the school day or in general? I can talk about during the school.
Both.
Tell me. Both. Okay. During the school day, we have site-based therapy. And we actually had this before the pandemic as well. But what we have done with our site-based therapy, we not only contract with a local agency, but the school board has approved employing our own as well, site-based therapists. So it's wonderful to have both. Also, this is unique again to Rock Hill. We have behavior management assistants. These are highly trained, non-certified staff, one in every elementary, and we have 14 elementaries and a preschool center. And that individual is there for all children, all kids who might be in crisis. They do check-in, check-out. They do small groups. They'll work with teachers and help teachers with understanding about self-regulation, redirection, taking care of escalating behaviors. In our secondary schools, we have just been approved to hire crisis management assistants, which are similar, but they're also trained in restorative practices. So that's one of the areas that we have really moved forward on. Also, we have an outstanding partnership with the Hayden Hurst Foundation. The Hayden Hurst Foundation, along with Hootie and the Blowfish Foundation, we are South Carolina, and also with a company called Van Robotics out of Columbia, South Carolina. I bring all this up because we have a social emotional learning curriculum called In Focus that we are funded by the Hayden Hurst Foundation and the Hootie and the Blowfish Foundation. And it comes along with a wonderful interactive robot called Abby the Robot that the elementary children just love. And it is aligned with the In Focus curriculum. So our kids are motivated to learn more about social emotional learning. In the other levels, in the middle and the high, again, I mentioned restorative practices. And in every school, we have a variety of adults that our students know they can turn to.
And since this department has been launched, have you noticed the students are more open to being or talking about these issues with their classmates, with their teachers, with the counselors?
Yes, and I say yes enthusiastically. It's wonderful to see because we are taking the time during the instructional day to have our social emotional learning centers, to have our restorative circles. The students are feeling good about expressing themselves, and we are seeing less stress. We are seeing students with reduced anxiety, and it's still there. This is going to take time, but it is helpful on a daily basis. Having more awareness across the board is making a big difference for our adult staff as well as for the children.
Okay, and my last question is, you just mentioned the adult staff. Are these resources available for the teachers as well?
Yes, as a matter of fact, not only are they available for our staff, but we have put some other things in place that they're taking advantage of. They were a little hesitant at first. We had put something called Snack and Chat, and what that was or is online chat, but facilitated chat. So it was facilitated by our school psychologists, our mental health therapists, and it was open. They sign up and they get on, and we may have a general topic, anxiety, or how was your day? Very open. And the teachers would sign up, not just teachers, teacher assistants. It was open for anyone, bus drivers, any adult, a Rock Hill staff. And they took advantage of that. We then transitioned into something called Conversation Cafe, but it was still the idea of an online chat facilitated by an expert in their field. Also, having the hotline, the resource hotline, has been very helpful. And of course, that's available to all of our staff as well as the community. We also have a dedicated email account for the Department of Mental Health. And so we are receiving emails not only from the community, but certainly from our staff, Rockville staff, about suggestions or even help for their child, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of outlets. We are currently working on a partnership with Winthrop University to have something called Rock Hill Cares Clinic, which would be a triage for any adult staff in Rock Hill to make a call. They're feeling stressed. They are just feeling like they're on the ledge. Talk to a therapist. It will be staffed by the social work department at the Winthrop University, so that hopefully the teachers, or I say teachers, it could be any adult, will feel better and be able to get back to their job.
Thank you, Dr. Turner. Mauricio, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. And it might be a little hard question, but is it in your knowledge, have you lost any children or to suicide in the past couple of years in your area?
Not that I know of, no, sir. I know it's heartbreaking when this happens in the districts. But no, sir, I hope, knock on wood, that this will be a pattern that we will not. We're trying to be extremely proactive.
Wonderful. And you seem to be on top of things in order to prevent this from happening as much
Yes,
as you can. Dr. Turner, our last question will be, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you think it's important for our audience to understand, not only when it comes to initiatives like this, but also in understanding better what the importance of taking care of your mental health and the mental health of children and teenagers across the board?
I would like to just make a few statements, and I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, ask for support. Always ask for support. Don't hesitate. Ask for support. A few general statements. Mental health is certainly a priority, not only in Rock Hill, not only in the state of South Carolina, but across the nation. It's important because it includes our emotional, our psychological, and our social well-being. Mental health affects how we think, how we feel, how we act. It will determine how we're able to handle our stress, handle our choices during the day, handle our relationships. So as districts or families, anyone who will be listening to this, please understand it is a primary area that we really have to focus on. There's support out there. Reach out, and we are here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Turner. This has been really incredible, and we really appreciate the opportunities to sit down and talk to you, and for you to share all these wonderful things that the Rock Hill Schools District is doing.